Hello, everybody. Welcome. We have another week. We're going to be talking about editing with Joe Eves here because, I guess we got to do it this way. No, wait. What do I do? I don't know.
That way for you, for
Really?
me. No, the other way, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the opposite way. So, Joe Eves and I are going to be talking about hiring video editors and editing itself. But I also want to let you know that we just started with the new group. We had kickoff on Monday. If you want to start with the new group and you're private coaching with Joe and I for life, it isn't just for the 7 weeks, it's for a lifetime. You can sign up today. You can totally sign up. It's
We
not
have
too
our
late.
very first actual call today.
Yep, Thursday evening. It always happens. Like we do these live streams. We take a little breather, eat some cereal or whatever, take a little break, and then we start right at 5 o'clock with our students, and they get one-on-one training from us. And we'd love to see you there. We would love to see you there. So, Joe, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that we've got a great group that's signed up and they are excited to go and we have the people that have already gone through it. They're going through it again because there's a lot of value in it, and they love that they're able to go in and actually go through it again. And it's the same price the whole way through. Like we're not changing, like you're a member for life. And so the thing I'm excited about is when you see those aha moments and they're like, oh, that's what you were talking about. Because they're starting to put those things into practice by relaunching their channel.
Yeah, I just saw somebody. Well, you already know this, but we just have a student that just started a brand new channel, and it's just going through the steps of launching their channel this week. So that's so exciting to see.
Yeah, it really is.
And tell you how invested we are. Like when he released his first video, I'm like, okay, hold on. Now you're gonna have to do this, this, and this because I don't want him to miss any steps. And when you're first doing this, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You're gonna miss some steps. I miss steps on my own content, but I don't want that for you. Like, do as I say, not as I do. That's one of those.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm excited, and like I said, we're getting ready to start off again. So it's not too late, and if you miss, it's okay because it's open all the time. So we're here every Thursday. So
Today we're talking about editing, Joe.
yes.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but when I first started, I just taught myself how to edit. School of YouTube, like I found out there was this free app already on my computer. It had little iMovie on there. I'm like, oh, I could just like slice stuff, very basic stuff. But I was like, I'd never done anything like that before. So I was like pretty excited. So I started editing, and it took me years before I ever would like let go of the baby, give it over to an editor. Were you like that at all? Or are you still like that?
I'm still like that. So I actually really enjoy editing, and it's kind of a peaceful thing for me. So I haven't handed that off yet. There's other things that I have handed off so that I can have the time to edit, but that's one thing that I really enjoy is the editing part. But as things grow, you have to understand the whole editing process in order to like give directions on how to edit, right? When you're talking with an editor, if you don't know what a jump cut is, or if you don't know what the timeline is, or if you don't know the jargon of editing, it's going to be really, really hard to explain to an editor. And so I'm the same way. I've been doing editing for a long time. And so for me, it's a passion. So I haven't let go of that baby yet. And I don't know if I ever will, honestly. I like it so much. Maybe I'll turn it over to AI. I have been doing more of that where AI is editing a lot of stuff for me, but I still kind of hang on to everything.
What are you using? What is that? Time Bolt? Is that what it's called?
So there's Time Bolt, but I just downloaded, there's a plugin for Adobe Premiere called Autopod. And I've had been messing with that for the last month or so. And it's kind of meant for like long, what's that?
That's Time Bolt.
Yes. Time Bolt is amazing. Autopod for Premiere is incredible because it does everything that Time Bolt does, but it's included in like you pay a one fee and then you have it. But what's cool is you can do multi-camera setup and it will cut everything. So like if you're doing a podcast, kind of like what we're doing with this live stream, if we weren't using the software that we're using, it would actually cut it all up for you automatically and take out all of the pauses and change the camera angles and all of that, sync it all up.
Mhm.
And what's awesome is they just came out with a plugin, because I'm like, well, I don't really do multi-camera shots a lot. I don't really do that stuff. So it didn't really make a lot of sense until they came out with a jump cut editor. So now it does what Timebolt does, where it'll cut out all of the dead space, and you can adjust it, give it all of the different things, but it does it real time. It's a plugin inside of the program. So you don't have to actually upload it to Timebolt and have Timebolt run through it. It's built into a plugin for Adobe Premiere, which is incredible. So I started using that to edit my stuff. And I'll tell you what, like the last video I did, I used it and it cut out 20 minutes of garbage and then brought it all up, all together to where then I could just start doing the editing. It was amazing. It's just like Timebolt, just built into a plugin for Adobe.
Oh, okay, because Timebolt you can do multicam as well. It
Yes.
has it on there, but
Yep.
I knew it was time to hire an editor when I just was like, every time I'm like, I want a week off. I just don't want to edit this week. But I went through so many editors, and I don't want that for anybody else. I'm going to tell you right now that like finding an editor and a good editor that's consistent is hard to do. Because even the editors I have now, there's times I'm like, what happened? Were you snoozing? Like, why is this like this?
Yeah. Like your very first video is like amazing with everything totally lined out. And then you're like, the 10th video, they're like, here you go. And it's like, wait a second. Why isn't it like when you were trying to earn my business? Why aren't you doing it the same?
I'll message them. I'm like, did you hire somebody new? Because this is definitely not the same person. and like, I love when he goes, oh, it's the same guy. I'm like, well, he's been drinking on the job because this is terrible. But you have to stay on him, and people always ask me, what's a good price? This is the God honest truth. At one time, I was paying $600 per video.
Oh, geez.
And still working my rear end off. And it was supposed to be the like premier video editors and stuff. And I'm like, they're not great. Like this is not premier editing to me for that kind of money. I mean, I can get that if I, with all the work I put into it afterwards. Yeah, it looks great. And I'm like, well, but that's not the point. I'm paying them $600 so I don't have to think about this. And there I am 3 hours before
editing after they send you their final edit.
Yeah. And then I went through my fair share of editors on Upwork. I did a few of those on Upwork, and they did okay. Then I got a recommendation from a YouTuber, like that's supposed to be like, he was a YouTuber, then he started an editing company, and I was like, oh, fantastic. And I gave them 2 weeks to work on a video that I genuinely did not want to work on. Like I was so stressed out. Nothing. That when I got it back, I was like, what is this? Because I had asked for like emojis on like some of the people's faces, so I would cover up their face. Yeah. And there was like they made like this little timeline thing at the bottom and put emojis in it. I'm like, what? I mean, I like never been so upset. No, and then they were supposed to be the, editor people. I'm like, you have no idea what you're doing. Like, and it's like one of those things where every time you see them, I'm like, you took my money because I paid them $2,000. And they took it.
And then they didn't even give you a product you could use.
I told them that you gave me nothing and you took my money.
That's crazy. I don't think you're unique in that situation. I think that happens a lot. And that's the problem, is that you don't know what you don't know. And it's hard to, to explain to an editor and to find an editor that like you jive with, and that it's hard enough to get the, the information and how you want them to cut. And then when you do get someone, you just hope that they don't like leave or they don't do something else, because then you have to like start all over again. But how do you handle that? Because you do have, you're releasing videos every week, and we have the course, we have all these other things that we're doing. So how do you get to where you find someone that you feel like you trust? Because I think that's a big hang up for a lot of people wanting to start YouTube, is they don't want to edit. They don't want to spend the time to learn how to do it. They'd rather just film themselves and send it off.
Well, and I totally understand that, but I'm with you on the fact that you have to learn at least the basics. You have to understand what goes into a video. First of all, you have to understand the video structure so you can explain that to your editors, because that's how you need to be editing your videos as well, to follow that same
Right.
structure. The
Yeah.
other thing is you have to understand the verbiage, the things to tell them that you want. And I would start interviewing them. Like if you go on Instagram, and this happens to me literally daily, there is somebody that says, "Hey, I see that you make content. Can you? And I would love to work with you." And I, just have a sample video. Give them all, like give all of them. Go on Instagram and say, "Hey, I have this sample video. I would like for you to test it out. I've already sent it to 5 other editors. I want to, like tell me, like give me your best shot, and they'll do
Yeah.
it. They'll
Yeah.
do it. They'll literally do it and send out that same exact video to all 5 editors and pick the best one out of them,
Yeah.
and the pricing varies. Like some people are like, you pay that much for a video, and then other people are like, wow, that's cheap for that kind of video.
Yeah. So do they go by the minute? Like, cause I know when
Right.
you're editing, a lot of times editors are like, by finished minute, I'm going to charge you. Do they do it by the video, the project? Like, what have you found in your experience?
Well, for me, it's like if it's talking head ones, that's really, I mean, it's flat fee. But if
Yeah.
there's anything that's like extra over the top kind of stuff, I do pay extra for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like again, I have control issues, so there's a lot of times I pre-edit some stuff that I know that I want a specific way, and it just be too difficult for me to explain what I wanted.
Right.
So I'm just like, let me just do these couple clips and I'll throw them in there and tell them, like I want them at the front end or the back end or whatever, and sometimes because I know that a lot of times editors don't necessarily, this English isn't their first language, for
Right.
instance.
Mhm.
So I will take the whole video and pre-edit it. And like, this is the order I want it in, but you can cut out as much as you need to. But I already did a pre-edit. So that way it's in the correct order of where I want it to be from
Yes.
beginning to end. And they can add and take away whatever they need to. Anything to make it easier so it's cheaper.
Right. Well, and that's where Time Bolt and some of these other things come
Right.
in, to where it's like, hey, you can get this stuff automated to cut it down, and then you can just reorganize it to however you need, and you leave the clips in that you want to use, and then send that video to them, so that you're not paying for all these extra edit, to cut down the video, or to clean up dead space, or or uhs and stuff like that.
Yep. Yep. Because see, sometimes like I always get my video done. Like I always have it. I release a video on Wednesday. I already have a video filmed on Tuesday for the following week, so it's already filmed. So stuff ends up happening during that week.
Yep.
Like something else would have gone really great in that video that I just sent off to the editors. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just film that clip. I'll film it and edit that little like minute and a half clip and then add it to the video that they had just finished. So like in my brain, a video is never really done until I push publish, because I'm
Right.
always messing with it.
Right, but that brings up a good point too, that like sometimes if you know how to edit a little bit and something comes up, you can cut in and insert a clip or insert something that's going to be vital to the information that you're sharing, and not have to send it back to the editor and wait for him to do it and then send it back to you. So that's a whole nother bonus of being able to at least understand how to edit, so that you can do those little things.
You know what another good thing is though, is that like you can talk to your editor and say, hey, can you make this more light sounding or more on the fun side? And they'll do things like where they'll add little memes, or they'll do little things that you wouldn't necessarily have done yourself, but it
Right.
adds that extra to your video that you're like, oh wow, that was great,
Yeah.
that makes it fun.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, is we like what we like, and we do the things that we like to edit, especially if we've been editing for a while, and then when you hire someone new and they bring something up, it's like, oh, I didn't even think about that, or I didn't even know that you could do like that type of an effect, or that type of transition or graphic or whatever it is, because they all have different abilities. There's a video of a guy. He does YouTube, and he's really, really creative. It's Daniel Schiffer. Have you heard of him before? He does
I'm terrible at names.
he
Okay.
does like he does like editing, but he does food, everything to do with food. So he edits stuff, and he basically gave the same footage, exactly what you were just talking about, and he gave it to 5 different editors on Fiverr, and basically said,
Oh.
he said, hey, and he did, okay, here's what $500 will get you. Here's what, a $2,000 or $1,000 will get you. And then he gave them all the same footage. And it's amazing to see how different each video is with the same stuff. Like some of them, like, even though all the footage is the same, they reversed the footage. They did different speed ramps. They did stuff to make it look totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really like intriguing to see each person's like way of editing something.
Yeah.
It was a great video.
Yeah. And then that's the big thing. Like you have to figure it out. Like what's the price? How's that worth it
Right.
to you? So when you go out to like Instagram or any of these other places that are offering their services like that, you can also reach out to other real estate agents and see if they're nice enough to share their editor with you.
Yep.
And if you need an editor, I have a group of guys. Just inbox me. I'll set you up with them. But even have them like do a sample video for you.
Right.
And see how it all works out, because it can be like the cheapest I've ever seen anybody do like 10-minute videos, which blew my mind, was $68.
What?
Like,
did they edit anything? Was it just like a timeline, or was it in cuts and that was it?
No, it was edited. I mean, was it edited to like the nines? No, it was edited. I mean,
Wow.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't awesome.
I would be willing to let go of my editing for that price point if it was up to because time is money, right? Like that is something that.
Right. Like it was one of those things that, like, say you had like 30 minutes of footage and they came back with this and you only paid $68, you'd be like, okay, I can work with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this is a good start. Now let me add all the other stuff. Let me add the gingerbread is what I call it. You know, you would just be decorating the cake. Like they made the cake and now you're decorating.
You're just putting on the little sprinkles here and there and make it a little fancy.
Yeah. So that was the one that was $68. Then I saw somebody that had one that they were doing $99 per video. And it was equivalent, just a hair up from the one before that. Then I seen him at like, once it get to, for some reason, add another $50. It really was really good. If it's $300, you're going to really get a great one. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for in your specific videos.
Right.
Do you want lots of sound effects? Do you need speed ramps? Do you want clips from other videos added to it? Are you using green screen? Are you doing any keying? Like all these things matter. All these things matter.
Hey, that brings up a good point. I have a question for you. So like when you edit and you use your editors, are you providing all the B-roll for them, or are they doing it? So do they have like a multi-license for the B-roll that they're using then from like Storyblocks or something?
Yeah. Well, so when I first started with them, they would be like, what's your Storybox account? We'll use that. I'm like, okay. But apparently they just got their own or whatever. Okay. And they asked me, do you have a Storybox? I said, well, yeah, you've been using it. And they were like, oh, okay. So they were doing that. So now there is, I don't know what they're using now, because obviously it's not Storyblocks. It's not the same stuff. They're using some other company, which whatevs. I don't care.
Right. Probably something that allows them multiple like licenses so they can do it for multiple channels.
Right. So I started like using some Storyblocks. Like once they send it over, I'm like, some of the B-roll stuff didn't really quite go with what I was saying. So I went ahead and added some stuff from Storyblocks. And then I have stuff of like tiny homes, the inside of tiny homes.
Yep. Basically your own B-roll like footage.
Right. Yeah. So sometimes I'll throw that in there as well. Because when I'm like, I know how many, you can't get to a company and say, here, I need you to make me a video about manufactured mobile homes. Like they're not going to have B-roll on that. Right.
Yeah, right.
So I give them a bunch of stuff, So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so when you do that, how, like, are you sharing that through Dropbox? Are you doing it through like Google Drive? Like what's the storage method that you do to like share that stuff with them?
Well, it used to be Google Drive, and then they went to Dropbox. So yeah.
Yep. Dropbox is great.
You
You can
Where
get a
is
lot of
everybody today?
information. I don't know. Everyone's like, off doing something. They're probably editing a video right now.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like there's no we are live on our channel. I
Yeah.
was just checking. Hey, did you know that we're up to 79 subscribers, Joe?
No, that's awesome. I love it.
Me too. I'm pretty happy about that. So we do have some channel reviews. Why don't we just go ahead and jump into the channel reviews and then
Let's do it.
Let's tie this sucker up. Let's see. Private chat. We only have a couple. Oh wait, did
Someone's watching?
I'm watching. I'm watching. See, it says
I-
Facebook user, so it's somebody in the group.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me.
Yeah, that's somebody that's paid for us. Because this is in the paid Facebook group.
That's Maria.
Maria. I once knew a girl named Maria. Oh, hold on. All right. I'm gonna get to. Hold on. I just hold on. Okay, here we are. Brad Blankenship.
Brandon, sorry.
Why did I say Brad?
I don't know. All right. Well, yeah. Do you want to start or do you want me to?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so probably, I mean, I like his picture and he's not cut off, so that's good. I like the profile picture with the different colors. It's great. There's no value proposition really. Well, I guess there's kind of a little bit, but he really should change. Get rid of the weekly videos. Get rid of the subscribe. Reload questions, have questions, emails. He's opening himself up to get spammed a lot with the email and the information right there on the channel art. I actually like the backdrop that he has with the Chicago skyline there. It looks a little faded, but I like it. I think it's just a little too many words. He could probably kind of make it a little less in your face and more focusing on the skyline and real estate life and news in Chicagoland.
Have you ever heard of the story about the gray suit?
So
years ago, presidential candidate knew he was going to be on television, and they put him in the wrong color suit because it's black and white TV at the time.
Yeah.
And so when they put him in there, they had his opponent in a black suit with a black tie. So he was a very strong presence.
Yeah, he popped off on the TV.
Right. And then the opponent was in a very light gray suit. It actually was like a blue type suit, but you couldn't tell because it was black and white television. And that made him look weak and almost defenseless in his attacks that were happening. This is when black and white TV happened. That's what this reminds me of. That gray suit just blends right into the whole thing. And then and this little
the gray, like the United States, and then he has like the Chicago or Illinois, like basically just really small. I know I like the idea. I know what he's doing. He's like, hey, I'm doing relocation, and if you're moving here, I can help you.
Right.
But it's just really busy and kind of, it actually is hard to see a little bit too because of the background.
Yeah, because the light gray matches into this, that matches into that. Too many words here, and I would find something else to put here.
Yeah, or just move it and just have it like part of the skyline, just because less is more sometimes with those designs.
Yeah, you would do something funny like put a little stick figure here and then put me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this right here. So remember when the links were up here in the banner, which was not even 2 weeks ago? They were up here on the right hand side. Now, if you look at the name on here, it's right here. Did you know that?
I did. Yes.
I didn't know they had moved it.
They moved it down below. What's weird is before it wasn't there at all. And you could see it if you were logged into your channel. You could see it. That's great. That's perfect.
Yeah, he did a
That'd be like a Google form or something.
yeah, Google form.
Yeah, that's great. Like,
Mhm.
it's right to the point. Like, you're interested, fill out the information.
And I'll give you a call.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah. Yep. This is
So,
great. If you don't have a landing page, or your company has their own, like, you use their email, like, that's the one thing I hate about I don't give a poop what brokerage you work for, but they all have their own, like, use our brokerage website in order to build your business.
yeah, that doesn't help.
That doesn't help, because, like, what if your business, like, goes somewhere else, and
Yeah.
then you have all this, like, to me, if you're just starting out, this is actually pretty smart. This is
Yeah.
a smart way to do it.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. You
Mhm.
control your leads, you control your database. That's a number one thing on anything, is making sure that you have access to your database at all times.
Yeah, because after you leave, they ain't gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, there's a big brokerage house that used to give you extra revenue, and now they're like, just kidding, we're not gonna do that anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We changed our minds.
change
Yeah.
your minds. Good luck to you, though.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Wow.
I think this is, I mean, that all of that's a great move. He's like, I don't think it really matters the
I like his
living in,
profile.
but I like the profile picture. It pops.
Mhm.
Almost looks like a target. You know what I mean? Like, just
Mhm.
because of the two circled and the two colors.
Mhm.
I like that.
I think a long time ago I made him a channel banner, but I think he might have switched brokerages. No, he was with Keller Williams. I think I
Mhm.
made him one, and I think he changed it out. Whatevs. Whatevs. Okay, here we go. Glen Isle, Illinois neighborhood tours. Moving to
Yeah. So he's just kind of reduplicating the thumbnail with the title, like too much text.
yeah, too much text. Not very interesting thumbnails.
And
Like, he would have done better off there if he'd had a bigger arrow,
Yep.
and took off all of those words, every single one of them.
Yep. And maybe made himself bigger and the arrow bigger, and then that was it.
Yeah. And if he just didn't want to focus on that, and just, like, because it's obviously a real picture and he's in the corner like that, I don't mind that specific thing, because he's really focusing on the location
Sure.
of that. But
The colors kind of blend in as well. Like, you've got the grass that's green and then yellow that's like very similar. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to stay with the theme color of his channel, but the problem is that it doesn't work with the grass.
right.
I agree. I just take the wording off, and a big
Altogether.
old arrow.
Yep. Big O arrow.
Big.
Amenities when living in Naperville, Illinois, North Naperville. These titles are about as exciting as reading the encyclopedia on the toilet.
Yeah.
Like, these are boring.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're gonna focus on an area and be area specific on that, then instead of amenity, like the donut shop that nobody knows about or something, you know what I mean? Like, you want something that's going to have some juice in it. The title needs to be juicy, and these are just, like you said, they're just kind of a statement. They're not really, and they're not even like an exciting statement. It's just kind of like, it's just like, here's,
He was trying to make them Google juicy instead of people juicy.
right. Right. So, yeah, I mean, definitely the thumbnails are clean as far as like the design. Like, the design is good quality, high res photos and stuff, but
Yeah.
it just needs to. The other thing is pros and cons. Like,
There's no pro and
there's
there's no
no,
con.
yeah, what's the pro and what's the con? Like, there should be some kind of, separation to, show a pro and con. That to me is just like, oh, well, pros and cons. Okay. So
You gotta keep them separated. Hey!
So yeah, but I mean, he's obviously trying to stick with it. He's trying to stick with a theme with his colors. I don't think that's necessarily like a terrible thing, but it's not super vibrant, so it doesn't pop off. And like with thumbnails, like yellow, or the green and the red pop, and then the Wheaton is just kind of. And again, this, I know we're doing pros and cons. I would get two totally different colors. If he wants to be in it, have him right in the middle. Have two pros and cons. You don't even need to say pros and cons, because you could have it down in the title.
Right.
So.
Yep. This is pretty good though. I like that one.
Yeah, I like the sign.
Yep. I concur.
Yeah.
I concur. Yep. All right, let's move on. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. He's doing a couple shorts. Let's see what his live streams look like. Oh, he's doing some live streams. Good on you.
Yeah. He's getting some views on it too.
Mm-hmm. I know this guy to the left. I don't know how I know him, but I know him. Maybe I met him at a conference or something. Sorry. Off the rails there for a minute. Man, he's only had this since 2020. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. This is cute. Moving to Chicagoland area, this is your new favorite channel. Yeah. If you added a little bit more value to it
wouldn't be so bad to have him underneath talking about himself after.
Right. So I would be like, this is your new favorite channel because blah, 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 blah. And tell them all the things they're going to be getting from your channel instead of you jumping into why I'm so amazing.
Yep.
You know, you're just like, this is your new favorite channel because I'm Brandon and I'm amazing. Like, nobody cares about you. They want to know what you can do for them.
They want to know why it's going to be their new favorite channel.
Right. And
like,
why you're so
what are you going to offer them that they're going to love?
Yeah, that makes you awesome without saying you're awesome. That's, I think, what everybody needs to understand. You can tell people you're awesome without saying, I am awesome. I am number one. There's so many other ways you can say that without actually making that kind of statement. So it doesn't come off as salesy, dingleberry-ish, you know?
Yeah. Yep. I concur.
Do you concur?
I concur.
Is there anything else you would like to look at?
I do think that he's on the right track. He's obviously putting some content out. He's got the form in place, which is huge because, you know, if people are wanting to get a hold of him, it's very easy to get a hold of him. Does he have that also down in the about section? It probably will have it at the bottom, right? The website.
Yeah, it has the form.
Yep.
See, schedule here, website.
Yep. So, and he doesn't have any social media links to anything else. So it just keeps them directed specifically to him and getting leads. I think that's really, really good. Couple little tweaks and, you know, definitely moving in the right direction.
Small tweaks.
Yeah.
Big peaks. Heard that before, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Many times.
Many times. All right, we got somebody else right here. Share this tab instead. Here we go. We got Doug Bear living in Philadelphia suburbs. Learned about living in, moving to Philadelphia suburbs. There's a phone number and an email address and a bunch of other stuff. Go ahead there, Joe Eves.
Same thing as like the last one, just clean it all up. He's obviously made this before YouTube made the change to the links on the channel art where they're no longer there. So he needs to update that. While he's doing that, it'd probably be a good idea to get rid of the big old subscribe button right there in your face and give a value proposition of why they should be watching your channel. If they like it and you make good content, then they'll watch and subscribe. So just less is more. I'd get rid of the phone number right there. He also looks like has a Google Forms, which is great. So that's a good spot, but the phone number could be in the about section.
Yeah, he sure does. Look at this. Oh, yeah, you did it.
Yeah, that's great.
Matt.
But it's just it could be a little less busy. I think that when you first start putting stuff together, and I don't know if he designed it or if he had a designer, but a lot of times when you're beginning designing, you try to cram everything that you possibly can in to give them your good idea. And then after you learn how to do a little bit of design, learn how to do stuff, you figure out that you can tell a story with some pictures. You can tell a story with imagery, and you don't need verbiage. You don't need text as much if you think about how you design, you know, the art and everything. So that is one thing that I think a lot of agents do. a little bit wrong is they try to put everything that they possibly can in the space that's allowed. And it's almost like, I don't dare leave something open and not have anything there but like a nice picture. I think that they feel like they have to fill it with something.
I think they think it's like a billboard,
Yeah,
like when you
right.
go and do a billboard, like you don't know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
I've done, like, I've had billboards done, and I've even gotten some back, and since I've learned YouTube, and then I was like, all right, let's have a little discussion. Is this your first billboard? Well, no. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk. I mean, people are driving 70 miles down the road.
Right.
They're not going to be able to read all that, are they? Are they? Oh, I didn't think of that. I'm like,
well, and that's you bring up a good point, that the people that actually that do design billboards, they hardly have anything on there.
yeah.
There's like one word maybe or two, and a little, like, it's very, very clear what their message is.
Yep.
But it's simple. And I think that's, again, people have spent millions and millions of dollars in market research and all that kind of stuff. It's like it works for a reason. So we just want to tell everybody about everything that we have, rather than giving a value proposition, and then they're sucked in because we're offering value, rather than just starting by saying, oh, I do real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would do, because it's like, want to learn about living in or moving to. Which one is it? Is your channel about living in, or is it about moving to?
Yeah, those are two totally different niches.
Two totally different niches. Is it living in or moving to? Pick one. And then you're going to say, but I have a playlist for both.
and that's why the views are where they're at, is because you're confusing the algorithm of who they should be serving up the information to.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about that in our course, don't we, Christina?
Yeah, we do. I know. And I get, like, I mean, we have these fisticuffs with people. They're like, no, I got some leads off of that. I'm like, don't you want thousands of leads instead of just a couple leads? I mean, all right. Yeah. Take off your phone number. Take off the
email
right here. I think, you're going to have to move this thing off to the right because it doesn't exist anymore. They used to have these little, people don't know, they used to have these little buttons. The buttons, they're gone. But I love the fact that you used a form here. That was very smart. Yep. I'd figure out if your channel is moving to or living in, and make that your value proposition to the person right here. I would take this living in Philadelphia suburbs team off. It's so small. No one's going to be able to read that on a cell phone. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And if anything, move that over to the right where this this thing is, and leave it there, and then take the subscribe off. You don't need that. All right, here we go. We were really busting your chops, and I'm going to tell you why, Doug. We only had 2 reviews today, so you guys got a little.
So you're getting the 3rd degree review.
Yeah, it's not that like your channel's in bad shape. It's just that we have no one else to rip on. All right, here we go. All right, so let's look at his about section before we get into his thumbnails. Oh man, he just started in 2020 also.
Yeah.
All right, this channel provides all the information you need to make the right decision when moving to the new home in Philadelphia. This videos give extensive knowledge of the suburbs of Philadelphia, as Doug Bear as your expert realtor. Good enough.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't start off why he's the best agent. So
yeah, good enough.
Great.
Good enough. If you wanted to expand on that, copy, paste, put this in Chat GPT and say, please, Chip, please expand on these 2 paragraphs, and it will.
It will.
It will. Anyways, all right. Now let's go into what you want to say. Okay,
so he's got. Is that the first one, like a home tour? He's got like a listing video. Is that what that is? Looks like it.
Yeah, and he did one of those double camera things. Ooh, that's gonna make me seasick.
Yeah, picture in picture.
So it's basically a tour of this house that's for sale.
Yeah. So if you were gonna do that, then obviously you'd probably want to. I mean, he's kind of done it on the other one. Like, what there's the 850,000 Bayou. But if you're going to do a tour, at least he put just the price and the you know, the house, I don't think I would have had Sellersville just do a big 415,000 and then kind of weave it in between the trees and the roof line.
I think it's Harleysville.
I can't read it. It's so small. No, sorry. Over on the very first one.
Yeah, it is Sellersville. Oh, that's a cool name for a
right. Sellersville. Yeah.
Here, I just thought I'd make it a little bigger. Is that easier to see?
It went smaller. You got to go just a little smaller, and then it'll go bigger. There you go. Oh, there you go. Whoa.
Oh my God! Wow!
Whoa!
Wow!
My God.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so yeah, it is Sellersville. I would just do the price. I would just take the price off, and then like you put the price behind the roof line of that house. It's super cute. I just don't think that if you're doing informational videos that tours of homes belong on the same channel. I would move that to a separate channel.
Yeah.
And I would even have like I would have that as a separate channel, and not only that, I'd make shorts out of those houses as well. Like if you do a lot of listings, I would just make a separate channel that's just for your listings, where it's just house tours, and do lots of shorts on all of your listings as well, because you can take that video, have your editor go in and make shorts out of them.
Yeah, I concur.
You concur?
I concur. So the next one, why is everyone moving to?
Yeah. ... Oh, it looks like he's got some good editing going.
Yeah, the editing looks decent. Yep.
Yeah, let's. I mean, I'm not.
There are so many amazing suburbs all over.
Oh, it's a green screen thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
But maybe it's just starting, and then he'll do like some B-roll or something.
Well, he does put B-roll in it, but he's talking behind a green screen the whole time.
I mean, that would be okay if you were going to do like a talking head short on for a YouTube short or something, or like, you know, but you'd be better off just having like talking outside or in the property itself. If this is like, what's the title of this one? Like they're
This
moving.
is the longest title on the planet.
Oh, it literally had more to it. It was just so long that you couldn't finish it.
Yeah, it was truncated off.
Oh my gosh. I would have just put nobody talks about this Philadelphia suburb.
Yep.
That's all you need. That's a way more. There's really two different thoughts on that title.
Yeah, it's two different you have two different titles here.
Yeah.
You have double titled it. And I'm sure you might have heard that as a content strategy, saying that would give your video more
Google juice.
I heard that.
Keyword stuff it, and Google's going to love you because of that.
Yeah, you're really, really tricking the algorithm. Oh, man. I'm just seeing, yeah. Like, I mean, this is fine.
Yeah, that's okay. I think it's more just
shorten up your titles. I try to make them 65 characters or less. You're going to do a lot better with that. Actually, to tell you the truth, as far as like green screen goes, this is probably one of the better ones I've seen. And there's people that green screen that have been doing it for a long time, and yours looks way better than theirs.
Look at that. He's even doing he's
the phone
superimposed himself on the phone.
Yeah.
So he's keeping them. I bet his retention's pretty good, because he is giving them points, and so they're waiting to get through all of it.
Yeah.
What's his view count on this video compared to like the others? I bet it's probably a little bit higher.
Well,
it'd be more than like the home tour, I would imagine.
Well, he hasn't been on YouTube that long. He's only got 687 subscribers. So this one has, I don't know where's the view count on this?
You gotta go back one to where you see all the videos, and then it'll show it.
Okay. It has 467. So I mean, that's pretty good. Out of all of them, look, the top 3, he got the most out of that.
Yeah. So that is, I mean, that's where you would analyze and adjust. You do like go in and say, okay, these are getting me more viewage. Like, what did I do right in this video? What did I edit? And it's probably, part of it is going to be that he's talking about something that people are interested in and he's giving reasons, but it's edited, where the other one's a home tour and it's just kind of like picture in picture. It's not really, doesn't fit. And then look at that, like downtown versus the other. I bet like that one, it has more views than the other home tour too. So like those two that he edited, like we're talking about editing, that to me so he did the same thing. So same kind of editing, he's getting more views because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, he just needs some tweaks.
Yep.
Yeah. Apparently he had a background before he was doing the green screen thing. Yeah, he had a.
So he's switched from the background to the green screen.
Yeah, he might have moved. Why? I don't know. Go back to the background. If I'm giving you some advice, well, look, he did some green screen here too. Maybe it's just something. You know what I want you to do? This is what I want you to do. I want you to do some of your clips in front of the regular background that you have, and then some of the clips with your green screen in the same exact video. So that way it breaks it up.
Yeah. And it would almost be like you're filming in two different locations, because you'd be like inside and then your studio.
I do it all the time. And it really does help with audience retention. I have a green screen in my bedroom. People always laugh. They're like, why is there a green screen in your bedroom? I'm like, just stop, And I do all my, like, if you ever look at any of my videos, there's where I'm sitting in a chair and I'm talking about certain articles and stuff. I make it look like I'm talking about the article that's sitting right there on the screen, and I'm doing this the whole entire time, even though that I know there's nothing there. But to them, they think I'm pointing to it.
Right. But I mean, that brings up a good point. I mean, so you can use green screen, and if you're using it to enhance like the talking points that you're talking about, where you do have a news article, and I think that you'll get better traction if you do some type of article or some type of, because it's almost like news at that point, where if you're doing it and then it's just a picture, like it's not the same as like you're positioning yourself as an expert on a topic and you're showing kind of that topic. That in my opinion, I think the green screen would work better, because now you're off to one side or you're off to this, and you're basically educating them, you're teaching them about something, and it seems more like in an educational way rather than like a green screen in front of just like a picture of a house or a neighborhood or something like that. It just seems like, to me, you position yourself more of an authority, because you're using, and what's great is then you're using someone else's story or whatever they have, and you say according to these people, and then that way you stay out of getting in trouble by trying to push something that that it's like, oh well, I didn't come up with it, I'm just quoting this person.
Right. That's what I always do. Like, I always say, don't be the source, be the source of the source. So when somebody says something that's like, that goes along with what you're saying, you're going to say, well, according to the Wall Street Journal, they said.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't me. It was them. And they said that this is what it is.
Yeah. That way it's like, I didn't say it. That was Ronald Reagan. That wasn't me.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, like this thumbnail, I was like, oh, that's a really pretty thumbnail. And I looked down, he had 12,000 views. I'm like, nice, clear, easy to read. That's why those kinds of thumbnails work. So it's just something to think about. All right, Joseph. I think that's it. That's all we got.
Awesome. Well, maybe we can kind of finalize a couple things, just chat a little bit about when you are editing, or if you're getting to that point where you want to do YouTube and you're not really sure if you should hire an editor or if you should edit it yourself. It's always a good idea to start just so you understand the process. But again, if your strength is lead generation and you want more leads and you're good at, like organization, hire an editor. There's nothing wrong with that. And then turn that over to them. And you're probably, like Christina was saying, it's going to be hard to find that right editor. So the first one you get probably isn't going to be your best buddy right off the bat. It's going to be one of those things that you're just going to have to test and try. But ultimately, I really do think that like you should have a little bit of experience in editing just so that you know how to talk to an editor if you decide to use an editor.
I concur. All right. If you want some more information on how to make your YouTube channel take off, you can always go to our website. It's realestatevideogeeks.com, and you can get some more information over there on there. I can't talk today. I had some dental work done, and I'm still not quite right.
Hey, but you're here. You showed up. Like
Hey, I showed up.
That's like that's the battle right there. Just showing up is 90%. So
Yeah. All
we're
right.
glad you're here and that you're okay.
I will be here more next week. I will. My being will be here more next week. So, all right, everybody. See you next Thursday. So long. Farewell. Avita Zane.